As they sent off this ship full of stinking garbage that departed from the port that day, no one expected that the garbage would leave their lives forever. Where did this ship take this trash? No one knew, or was curious about the answer. The 27th of April 1993. The smells emanating from the Ümraniye landfill became unbearable for the citizens. People who wanted a flower garden instead of a landfill in their neighborhood were protesting by leaving carnations in the stinking garbage dump. As the protests came close to resolution, a tragic explosion occurred. The piles of garbage flowed like a volcano, engulfing the surrounding houses and people. Everyone participated in the search for the survivors in solidarity. But unfortunately, 39 people lost their lives and 12 were never reached. The carnations were replaced by stones. People expressed their anger by stoning the landfill. Until the explosion, there were 3 active dumping sites in Istanbul. The full garbage trucks that could no longer go to Ümraniye were directed to other areas. Neighborhood residents prevented trucks from entering the landfills. The garbage dump shouldn't be built in the city. If it is, another Ümraniye incident will occur. After all these events, a statement came from the mayor of Istanbul. This gibberish statement did not offer any solution and left the people alone with their own garbage. Since the waste was not being collected, the city turned into a big garbage dump in a short time. The whole city slid into chaos. People that throw their trash out the windows. People that bury their garbage, set the whole city on fire. People that even burn them in their stoves. People that rent places to store. People that were wearing face masks because of the unbearable smell and smoke. People that ask for the government to take responsibility. All the parks turned into garbage cemetery. Some empty places were used by garbage-full truck. The garbage scattered on the streets was making it difficult to walk. Some individual efforts to clean the mess were not enough for all the blocks. People dying because of the diseases asked for someone new to heal the city's bruises. Garabektin Subuşer, a candidate for the mayor of Istanbul, promised the biggest incineration plant in Europe, which will make people forget the painful days they lived. After Subuşer won the election, he promised 3 months to the public for the incineration plant in Prospect. During this time, he asked the public to follow the recommendations of the scientific committee in order to control the garbage problem. In newspapers and television, recipes were given to the public on subjects such as sorting recyclable wastes and composting organic wastes. People reacted differently during this waiting period. The vast majority of the public refused to take any further responsibility for dealing with their garbage. The promises of the authorities had not yet come true. People did not know what to do with their garbage. While those who burned their garbage caused great fires in the city, epidemic diseases such as typhoid and cholera were also on the agenda. While the quarantine of Istanbul was discussed even on global news, an explanation was expected from the authorities. Breaking his silence after the negative news, Garabektin Subuşer announced that they would collect the accumulated garbage for the last time and that a ship from America would take the garbage far away. After the last cleanup, the public had to obey the strict rules of the new released decree law. 1. Individuals are responsible for the management of the waste they create. Not a single institution but all 8 million will manage the garbage of 8 million. 2. A guard will be assigned to each neighborhood in Istanbul. Citizens who dump illegally will be fined. 3. Each house will be billed monthly for the amount of waste it throws. 4. Incentive grants will be given for new business lines that will serve alternative waste management. People poured into the port to bid farewell to the ship that was their savior. The smell of stinking garbage vanished with the hum of flies, the cries of joy, and the ship's whistle. So, what did the departed ship change in people's lives? In a world they couldn't dump easily, Istanbul citizens started to sort waste at home. In line with the new needs, old furnitures were upcycled or repaired with different materials. New rooms were created to be able to store their properties that cannot be thrown away and will be inherited to future generations. Making compost and growing food in their gardens and balconies became part of their life. Various adaptations that started at the domestic scale have affected the cleanliness of the city. The vast majority of people have become responsible for their garbage. Since the community managed their waste in an efficient way, Subusher took the situation as an advantage to cancel the incineration plant and use the investments for public goods. By that time, Istanbul made a great impression in the local and global press as a zero-waste city through the collective efforts of the people. Neighborhood residents were proud to develop a new resourcing network. Garabettin Subusher said that we owed this victory to that network. This network made it possible to live without producing waste by enabling every output as an input for another. Waste became property that continues its life from hand to hand. A new lifestyle has emerged in the neighborhood with the increase of the resourcing culture, which brought a new perspective to the production. Modular and eclectic clothes sewed by tailors started a new fashion trend. Children are educated to adapt to design from second hand. Exchange hubs were places where people could swap resources if they had to. Artisans were the cornerstone of this cyclic approach. Food clubs were places that served those who wanted to optimize organic waste. Foods are provided locally and unpackaged from groceries and farmers' markets. Flea markets have become Istanbul's gateway to the world with an increasing margin of profit. People rent the items they can use in common from the rent hubs. Mobile refill vehicles were providing basic food and cleaning products periodically. City farms were established for the locals to compost their organic waste and grow their own food. In a reality where such a situation has been overcome with new solidarities rather than individuality, consumption habits have changed and production has been created in a circular order. The concept of waste has changed.